our group, we chose to write about Apple and the battery scandal that surfaced at the end of 2017. It is by Christian Lopez, Aaron Rodriguez, and Ricardo Rodriguez. So I wanted to give a brief history or introduction about Apple. So Apple is a multinational technology company that is located in Cupertino, California. Steve Jobs, Steve Wozniak, and Ronald Wayne founded Apple in April of 1976 to develop and sell personal computers. As of today, Apple is the world's largest information technology company by revenue and the world's second largest mobile phone manufacturer after Samsung. So I wanted to talk about Apple's headquarters that's located in Cupertino, California. I just wanted to mention some of the things that they have there for their employees. They have a wellness center on site. They have an underground parking lot. They have 1,000 bikes on site. And the wellness center, this is just a big fitness arena that they have there for, it has a gym and different things within there for the employees. And they made an underground parking lot, so they didn't want cars to disrupt just how the building and the campus looks. That's why they did that. And the 1,000 bikes on site is so employees can get to and from within the campus, because it's a pretty large campus, and the whole campus is using 100% renewable energy. And to continue with that, with the campus, some benefits to it is they have an underground auditorium, and the whole thing is inspired by London Square. So, I mean, the designers, they really went above and beyond in order to make it look the way that it does. And the underground auditorium serves as a place where Apple can make big announcements or have company gatherings down there. And Apple invested over $5 billion into this. So that's a significant amount of money, and it came to mind the companies that we talked about earlier in the semester with Pixar and SAS, how they provide their employees with a lot of amenities in order for them to be more productive. I mean, it's not the way that a lot of companies work, but they're in business and they make a pretty big profit. So I just thought that was cool to mention that. So before the fallout. So Apple had finished 2017's fiscal year very strong, and they were doing well. They posted $52.6 billion in quarterly revenue, which is an increase of 12% from the previous year's quarter. So overall, they were strong and they were in great shape. The fallout. So in 2017, Apple had a pretty strong financial year. They did really well. They debuted new products such as, the iPhone 8, the iPhone X, and but also within that, in December of 2017, customers began speculating about how their iPhones, especially older generation iPhones, were beginning to not operate as quick and having problems with crashing and things like that, which these reports eventually led to a statement from Apple issuing an apology about slowing down iPhones.
Transitioning to the next section of the presentation, I will be discussing the various stakeholders impacted by the upper management's decision in this particular incident. First on the line, affected by the battery incident, we have the direct company employees. The list includes managers, field workers, developers, and everything in between. At the top of the list affected by this decision, we have the current CEO in office, Tim Cook. Even after the company came out with an apology confessing to the alteration of the affected iPhone batteries, the general public was still unsatisfied with the absence of Tim Cook's personal apology in the company's statement. Next in line, we have the affiliates in the company's financial growth. The list includes investors, suppliers, and third-party partnerships, and of course, everything else that falls in between. On this slide, I included the governmental agencies affected by the battery scandal. First on the list is a government agency in China called the China Consumers Association, which is a predominant national organization which aims to monitor goods and services to protect consumer rights and interests and to provide guidance on consumer activities and development and to promote a healthy environment for a socialist market economy. This organization has been a group that has been fighting Apple on this issue dating back to late 2016. In other words, Apple had been slowing down iPhones since late 2016, but since they thought they had been discreet about the issue, people would forget about the CCA, which was one that reminded them all along of their unprofessional strategy to get customers to upgrade to newer phones. The U.S. Justice Department and Securities and Exchange Commission also began an inquiry into whether Apple violated any security laws relating to final disclosures. John Thune, a U.S. Senator, was one to also question Apple's judgment in slowing down iPhone models. And lastly, the primarily affected group by the company's battery scandal is the consumers. Customers who had purchased the iPhone models affected by the company's strategy had their phones being slowed down to avoid rapid shutdown even though it did not occur. That meant if the phone was on its last bit of charge, if a person wanted to take a quick picture or video, the device would suddenly shut off because of the update installed by the head software developers. Customers did not hesitate to make their frustration heard by the company. Not only did they have to worry about paying for phones over the $600 range, but they also had to purchase an additional battery and take their phone to an Apple facility to have it replaced. In fact, in their apology letter, Apple states they only released a statement based on feedback from customers themselves. Apple is now facing 2 class action lawsuits, one by customer Stefan Bogdanovic, based in LA, California. Stefano citing loss of use, loss of value, and the purchase of new batteries as reasons for compensation. The group that seems to have been affected the most from the scandal are the customers who use the iPhones themselves, because of the financial loss involved in replacing additional batteries. One thing for sure is that a breach of trust occurred between the company and the stakeholders, and it will take more than just a battery replacement to fix that dispute.
Decisions managers made prior and after the scandal. First of all, Apple decided to have a software update that slowed down their older phones, and Apple stated that this was in order to extend battery life, but not to slow down older phones. Actions made after the scandal. When the scandal was first introduced to the public, CEO Tim Cook quickly made an apology to its customers. Apple also made an official apology on their website. Apple's managers also made instructions on how to replace their batteries of the old iPhones in their website. With the battery replacement, Apple first introduced it with the $79 charge. Later, it dropped to $50, and most recently, they dropped it to $29. But the $29 is only available until 2018. And also, the iPhone has to be in good shape, it can't be cracked. They can either make an appointment to your local Apple store to get it fixed, or you can also send the phone to Apple, mail it. Also, Tim Cook promised a software update that will let you choose between a faster phone or a better battery life. If our group would have been in control of Apple, we would have done a few things differently. First of all, we wouldn't have done the software update that slows down the older phones. We would have instead gave this power to our customers with a software update that they would be able to choose with either a longer battery life or a faster phone. This scandal has stained Apple's reputation, and not only are the customers mad, but now Apple has to deal with legal issues.